Well, looks like we've got a pretty crummy weather today. We are going to visit Larnach Castle. I always hesitate with pronunciation, not exactly sure, but it's the only castle here in New Zealand. We're going to check that out today. And we're supposed to have a wildlife tour this afternoon, but I'm not sure what they're going to do if it stays rainy and cloudy all day. I hope I get to see something cool. We just spent the morning at Larnach Castle, and unfortunately the weather is foggy and rainy. They have a beautiful garden around the castle and views of the harbor, which we cannot see because we're covered in fog, but it's a beautiful historical building, the only castle in New Zealand, even though it's more like a giant historical home built in the 1800s with a very interesting history. So I'm going to take you through the building and tell you a few stories about this interesting place. And if you come, hopefully you can come when the weather's nicer and you can spend some time in the gardens. I'm pretty sure I mispronounced it, and I think it's Larnach. So the story behind this castle is actually more tragic than grand. It goes back to when Dunedin was once the richest city in New Zealand. It was propelled by the Otago gold rush. And William Larnach was a wealthy businessman and politician, and he built this property in 1871. After building this gorgeous property, William's personal life quickly unraveled, so much so that he died by suicide while serving in Parliament in 1898, a tragic end to a once powerful figure. In the early 1900s, the property was sold off, and over the years, it served as a mental hospital, a retreat for nuns, and even a hospital for soldiers. And it fell into serious disrepair. But luckily, in 1967, the property was purchased by the Barker family, and it was thoughtfully restored. Not only can you tour this property, but you can actually stay here. They do offer lodging. Now, I didn't know that when I was visiting. I would have loved to have stayed here. But just know that Larnach Castle is widely considered one of New Zealand's most haunted buildings. Now, in addition to the tragedy of William, his wife and one of his daughters also died young. So along with that and the tragic end to his own life, we now have legends of hauntings at this house. I love historic properties, and I absolutely loved touring this structure. Next up, we take a wildlife tour with Monarch Tours. Now, this was booked way in advance. I'm not sure I would have taken this tour if I would have known how rainy it was going to be, but hey, we were all really good sports. This area is known as the Otago Peninsula, and it's one of New Zealand's most important wildlife regions. So let's see what we can find on this soggy, wet day. We are on the Monarch wildlife tour today, and we have kind of the worst possible weather. It's super foggy, it is rainy, but on this tour, they give you binoculars. They give you a nice warm jacket. So I'm here with a group of folks on this tour today. I will have a link to the tour company and the prices down below. So we're gonna see if we can find any seals down at this beach. Okay.
Are you all right there? Are you all right there?
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I think you're going to be able.
A little surprised to have to walk over the fence, but there was a bit of a step there. Don't step in these holes.
How was surfing?
It was really good.
Was it?
It was lots of fun.
Impressive.
Sea lions? Yeah.
All right, this is considered Allen's Beach Recreation Preserve.
Come down and let's see. It could be going up the path, that one. So we've got another path.
Is that a sea lion over there, or is that a log or something?
No, that's two sea lions over there too, yeah. I would say that he's going over there, but that's why I'm giving you a bit of room just in case.
There's a sign there on the gate that said it was private property, so I imagine these tour companies have approved access to this area, but there were some people, general public, that were there too, so I'm not really sure if it's generally accessible. These jackets came in handy. Unfortunately, our bus tour was canceled due to the weather, so we've been driving around, and honestly, the windows have been so foggy, we haven't been able to see anything outside. But now we're stopping at this opera center here to learn about the penguins, and then we're going to drive somewhere to hopefully be able to see them. Wish me luck.
Yep, is that ahead?
All right, after stopping at that visitor center, we're now going to see if we can find some of the penguins. Hopefully we'll be lucky. It's been a rough day so far. Beautiful.
This is the beach which is called Pippi Carter-2 once again. Pippi
Somehow I ended up with sand all over me. Wow, it sure is pretty. There's a sea lion down there. It's like right over here. The little nesting boxes, but I don't see anyone in there. And we're coming a little closer to the sea lions. There are, gosh, I see 4 of them. In fact, I see one even behind the rock behind this guy. Man, this is just stunning coastline. Unbelievable. Be one inside this box. Everyone is stopping to take a picture. Well, they were really hard to see, but the little penguins were nesting in their little nesting boxes. So hopefully you'll be able to see just a little bit. Nothing else, a stunning stretch of coastline. So because the cruise was canceled, we're going to the Albatross Center. And I believe they said it was the largest or the only albatross colony. I want to say the Southern Hemisphere. I may have those facts wrong. I will learn more when we get there. This area has the only mainland royal albatross colony in the world. Every other colony of these birds exist on a remote, windswept sub-Antarctic island, making this spot very rare. I was curious why they were named royal. It's mostly because they're one of the largest and most imposing seabirds in the world, with a wingspan of up to 3 meters. They mate for life and can live over 60 years. So if you're into bird watching, this is a very special place to visit. We alternated in groups, half listening to the talk about the birds, and then the other half go up on the hill. So it's a pretty steep walk up this paved path, and there are tons of just typical seabirds that are flying around, making kind of a mess. And then you go up to this warm watchtower. So again, binoculars would be handy in this spot, and you can look down over where they nest.
So, yeah, one right by the rocks. That one's nice and clearly in view. Then if you head down kind of directly,
And there's a variety of different birds that we saw here as well.
20 pounds. Yeah.
So I forgot to end the video. It ended up being a really cold and wet day, and I'll have to say, I didn't really end the video properly. It was a very cold and wet day, and we didn't really see as much wildlife as I was expecting. So honestly, if the weather's really crummy, I thought it was a little expensive for what we got, especially because like the defroster didn't work that well in the bus, and so the windows were really foggy, so it was hard to see. So, but there are some unique wildlife opportunities here, and I'm sure on a better weather day it would be much better. So stay tuned, because next week we're going to be visiting Milford Sound.